Why does this matter? Because this kind of content is the kind of content that people share. So the reason social is going to work for you or not work for you is that you're either putting a flag and standing against something, and then you're showing how your product is the antithesis to that. Hi, I'm Jacqueline Snyder, and this is the Product Boss Podcast. I've helped launch and grow thousands of product-based businesses, even one of my own. And over the last 20 years, I've seen behind the scenes of businesses just like yours. Whether they are makers, manufacturers, artists, or food and beverage businesses, I have spent so many hours studying it all. I've discovered what makes them successful. What are mistakes they could avoid? How did they turn an idea into successful business? And what are strategies they have used to make more sales and be discovered by more customers? This is what this show is all about. Whether you're just starting out or you're looking to become $1 million product boss, I'm here to give you the permission to chase your dreams, no matter how big or small. All you need is the right mindset, a little courage, strategy, and support, and you too can be the next $1 million product boss. Let's do this. Hey, product bosses. Okay, I've got a great coaching session this week with Chanel of Pup Pastry. As you might have guessed by the name, her business specializes in dog treats, and she focuses on healthy, natural products. She's pretty new to our program, Multi-Stream Machine, but she's already starting to see results. And now she's looking at optimizing those revenue streams as she moves forward. So let's get into it. All right, product boss, listen, I know that running a product-based business requires you to wear all the hats and juggle all the moving pieces at once. It's like we're in a circus. But I know also that not only do you have products to make, emails to send, content to create, inventory to manage, and literally everything else, but you also have to make sure that you're taking care of your customers. And sometimes it feels impossible. And trust me, because I have been there too. But don't worry, because I have the perfect solution for you. HubSpot's all-in-one customer platform. From marketing and sales to service and growth, HubSpot has you covered. Plus, their platform is powered by AI, which can help you brainstorm, write content, and pull reports. All of the tasks that are taking time away from you being able to focus on your products and your customers. So if you're ready to streamline your business to help make your life easier, then visit HubSpot.com to learn more. Hey, product boss. Okay, so are you struggling with elevating your branding and taking your video content to that next level? If so, I have just the software for you, and it's called Riverside.fm. Wouldn't it be a game changer if you could have crystal clear audio and video for your product launches, interviews, and even virtual events? With Riverside.fm, it's not just a recording platform, but your backstage pass to professional quality content creation. No more worrying about tech issues, because we all know sometimes the tech gods just aren't on our side. Riverside.fm allows you to connect with influencers, collaborate with partners, and engage your audience like never before. Plus, you can easily turn your recordings into shareable content for various platforms. It's exactly what we do here at The Product Boss. I'm actually recording on Riverside.fm right now, and when you see the clips of me that look amazing and crystal clear on social media, it has been all recorded and created on Riverside.fm. So it's time to grow your brand with beautiful visuals and captivating storytelling all in one place. So Product Boss, if you're ready to stand out in a crowded market and elevate your brand, head to Riverside.fm and enter the code THEPRODUCTBOSS, all one word, to receive a 15% discount. Hey, Chanel. Okay, so I'm so excited to work with you one-on-one on this coaching call. So you are a newer student in Multi-Stream Machine. You said you joined in February, and then you joined us also in Next Level, which is the supportive membership program that is on the back end of Multi-Stream Machine. So people who join have the opportunity to work with us and get mentored and have all this extra support and extra community. So really excited to dig into your business today and get into the nitty-gritty, but tell me a little bit about what you make and sell.
Great. So I make healthy dog treats. And what that means is that for me, specifically with my business, is I only use ingredients that provide a health benefit for the dog. So I have stuff that is targeted toward digestive issues, skin and coat, joint, and then dental. And then I also really lean into the pastry part of my name and I get inspiration from like human treats. So I have like my own version of a carrot cake cookie. I do like cake pop balls, but again, only using ingredients that provide a health benefit.
And do you make them all?
Mhm.
How did you come up with the idea?
Really, it was like my fiance's idea. I made them for my own dog. She was experiencing some really bad skin issues. And so I just went on a deep dive of ingredients. And then he saw how into it I was. And he was like, I think maybe you should try to make it a business and, sell to other dogs. And I just looked into the ins and outs of it basically, because obviously I am dealing with like a product that they will eat. And so once I got comfortable with everything that was required of me, then I started to reach out to like farmers markets and stuff like that. And so that's how I got started.
Amazing. I love the name Pup Pastry. Just
Thank you.
so smart. So right now, most of your sales are coming from where?
The farmers market for sure.
And how often do you do those?
This is my first summer in business. I feel like summer is really where I'm going to do the best. Right now, I'm at 8 markets a month. I did 8 markets this month and I have 8 markets next month.
So are they all weekend?
Yeah, for the most part, it's all weekend. So like Saturday, Sunday, some I will have like Fridays. There are a few Thursday markets, but for the most part, it's weekend markets.
So that's where you're getting your sales. And then you would like to start to sell more online.
Right.
That's kind of your biggest struggle, direct to consumer.
Yeah.
And when you joined Multi-Stream Machine, I guess my question is like, what did you join for? Like, did you want to add on another platform to it? And what was that you wanted to add on?
When I joined Multi-Stream Machine, it was basically not only to get another platform, but it was just to learn where I wasn't meeting the mark at. I felt personally that I had the right product. I just wasn't doing like the best marketing. And so I felt like at that point I had been like 5 or so months in business and I wasn't seeing what I wanted to see. And so I wanted that extra help. And at the time, I wasn't leaning into farmers markets as heavily. I was still trying to wait on that online business to start popping off, but it didn't. And so once I realized that, okay, maybe you should like focus on other avenues of income, then that's also what helped me nail it with the multi-stream machine.
Okay, so actually the way you started was you launched a website and weren't getting the traffic you wanted. And so you're like, oh, I need another revenue stream. And so you actually went to the in-person markets. Amazing. So chicken or the egg, we figured it out. So looks like you're making on average about $500 a month right now.
Mm-hmm.
And what were you doing pre-figuring this stuff out before you were doing the online markets and adding on like this multiple sales channel process?
Basically, like I said, it was just the online and where my sales were coming from were like family and friends and kind of like that cycle of it just being like family and friends. Like I said, I was doing the markets, just I wasn't leaning heavily into it. And then once I did that and I realized that worked, I kind of let the online take a back seat. And then once I went through all the modules and I knew that my website was missing something because, you talked about how the bounce rate and, certain number, that means they're not seeing something that grabs their eye and then the above the fold. And so that's when I went to the group on Facebook and just asked them to do like an audit of my website. And they all came back with really good feedback. And then someone even was willing to sit down with me one-on-one on a Zoom call. And we just went through like every aspect of my website.
That's really nice of them.
It was very, very helpful. Like the website that I have now is nothing like what I had before. But it looks way better. Like I was like, well, now I see, but I feel like now I get the visits or I get the sessions. I'm just still not converting to like getting those sales. And then even when I do get an online sale, it's someone who has purchased from me from a market. Obviously, that's great too. I'm not like unappreciative of that, but I still want to just reach like a new consumer.
So this is exactly my story with Cups Couture, that I had the product, I built the website, I launched it. I was like, here world, I'm online. And literally no one bought. And the first person who bought was my friend Beth. The second person who bought like weeks later was her friend. And there was nothing. And so I did exactly what you're doing. I decided to do in-person markets because for me is like a go out and get them kind of person. I was like in-person markets, There's actual human beings walking by. I have to stand there and have the product and then talk to them and sell. I love that for you, especially as a new business, because you are getting data, all the data points. You're figuring out what you can be known for. You're figuring out what people are most attracted to or what they're asking questions about. So I had a dog that I was at some point giving $7 worth of allergy shots to a day. This dog was like 15 pounds. So
Yeah.
ratio to size. No. And the shots are terrible for them anyways, but my dog would like eat her paws. So I also was like super aware of like what kind of food she could eat, what kind of food she couldn't, what kind of ingredients needed to be. Like it was such a problem for me and my dog versus the dogs I have now. They're mutts, so they're better because purebreds have the
Yeah.
issues. So they have less, but it's still this awareness of wanting to give them, whether I'm giving them grains or no grains, like whole ingredients. Like, you know, there's entire businesses now built on like there are subscription boxes or like weekly meal delivery services for animals now. It's kind of insane, like how much money people can spend on their animals. So there's different ideal customer avatars, there's different markets we can address, and there's different ways of approaching it. So I say all of this because right now online, it's going to be harder to stand out because you're competing with the big guys initially. And so I love that you have done this direct to consumer in person because you are getting data points as a new business of what are they willing to spend? What questions are they asking? What do they want to buy? So knowing that, what data have you collected that is helping you determine like what you're going to keep selling? Have you been paying attention to that?
Yeah, I've already like streamlined what I'm selling. So when I first started, I included like bone broths. And since going through markets, I realized that that's not my niche. Like I need to stick with just like treats that they can go ahead and eat. It just wasn't something that needed to focus on. They also ask a lot of questions about the softness of a treat.
And do they want them soft or not soft?
They want them at least easily breakable. As long as they can, rip it apart for their dog, then they're fine. Very, very rarely have I ever had someone tell me that like my treats are too hard for their dog, unless they have like no teeth.
People who are asking you that, are they asking you about your bigger stuff, like your cookies? Because you have other things that are smaller, like kibble size, like your Plaquebuster cookie or your pumpkin spice cookie.
Mm-hmm.
Which one are they asking you about?
They just ask in general. Mainly they are looking at the bag stuff. So the Plaquebusters and the pumpkin spice, that's what's like right when you walk into my booth, that's the first thing you do see. So they're mainly asking about that. But in the middle of asking that question or answering it, I let them know that all of my treats, they're on the softer side. And I try to always have samples out there, just not only to give to the dogs, but to also just show them like, hey, this is how easily it breaks apart, or this is the size reference.
I guess my question is why are they asking you?
Right.
Do you know?
They never say why. I always assume that it's because either they don't want their dog to have like the whole treat, or they are, again, just worried about how hard it is. I've also feel like I've run into, because they ask like how easily breakable the treat is or how soft it is. Once I let them know that it is a softer treat, they're okay with not being able to break it up. Like it's very weird on why some people like will ask that. I know if it was a smaller dog, I would understand, because even when I give out the smaller dog samples, like I break it up into like a tiny little piece because they are smaller dogs.
So I wonder if one, signage or on your packaging, it should state like soft treats or like made with like softness or like some sort of language. Second is could you find a way that when people ask you this in person, that you say, yeah, you give them your normal thing. Like, yes, they are definitely softer. People can break them up. Can I ask you a question? A lot of people will ask me this question and I'm just curious. I'm just going to kind of like, I just want to be able to ask some customers why you're concerned about it. Cause I'm just, as I'm building my small business, I'm just trying to like, just be completely honest with them. I'm just curious why you're curious if they're soft or not. And then they'll tell you, oh, because I like to break them up. Because I don't want to give my dog an entire treat because I give my dog treats all the time. Maybe it's for weight management. Maybe it's for dogs that are losing teeth. I don't know what their reason is. But after you tell them the why, or maybe even you're processing them through, like you don't turn them off with asking those questions before they buy.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say they're up and they're buying from you and you're like checking them out. You might say to them, hey, can I ask you a really quick question? So I just kind of started this business a year ago. A lot of people ask me if the treats are soft. I'm just curious, like your reasoning, because I'm just working on my packaging and my recipes, and like your feedback is like so super welcome.
Right.
Something like that. One thing I love about in-person markets is being able to ask your customer directly for feedback. They get to ask you questions, which shows where you could be clearer in your packaging and your marketing. But you can also ask them why that question matters, what they'd like to see more of, and what attracted them to your product in the first place. This kind of information is invaluable for planning your future actions. And even if you can't sell in person, finding ways to get creative and get feedback directly from your customers is a must. I love that people are finding you in person and then they are coming to your website. So, what we want to do, and I teach you this inside of Multi-Stream Machine as well, is how to grow your email list. So, I want you to also be growing your email list and then incorporating emails, because the only thing that you own is your email list. And so, we want to entice people that are in person to either sign up reminders. You could be like, hey, sign up and you'll get 15% off your first purchase online. And then you can even send an email that's like, hey, so-and-so, so great meeting you at market. Because when you opt people in, and be like, here's some other products that we have. Did you know we can deliver to your door? Like, we love to see you at market, but like maybe there's a way for them to get on subscription with it. Or it's just that they opt into your email list and you're reminding them. So that way, if they're getting to the point of running out and they didn't get a chance to come see you at market, they can just place the order and it can come to them.
Right.
So we just want to make your website a useful tool to the people that are already your customers. It's easier for you to sell to your current customers than to try and get new ones.
And so I know that I do definitely have to work on bringing more attention to my email list at markets. But when they do make a purchase and I give them business card in the bag, I always say, like, I'm including my business card. I do have an online website where I ship or in-person delivery. And we also do, I'll say, like, custom cakes for dog birthdays and gotcha days. And I'll toss it in. They're like, oh, thank you. Like, thank you for that. And then I hand them the bag. So I do let them know that.
But the problem with that is that then we're waiting for the customer to take action on an action that we can get from them in person.
Mm-hmm.
So I would rather you have sure, still drop that in, but how many cards do you respond to that you get? We get mailers in the mail all the time. Like if you order things off of Etsy or Amazon, people give you the card in the box and maybe you save it, but how often do you go back to that to like take the action versus if they're with you in person and whether they buy from you or not, you say, join our email list and we're going to be doing a giveaway, $50 gift certificate to buy on our website, right? Like every market, you do a $50 giveaway and people sign up.
Okay.
Or don't do a giveaway and say, hey, for those of you who join the email list and you're buying, join the email list and you get 10% off. Or maybe they get a free cookie, like have some sort of bribery moment
Right.
and get their email when they're with you. That means they don't have to do anything but use your product and watch their dogs enjoy your product. And then your second step in being super helpful. So one, you're not asking them to remember to opt into your email list at any future point because you're handling it for them when they're there. Second is you're going to start to send them emails. So then you're going to be helpful because you're landing in their inbox and they're like, oh yeah, thank you. Oh my God, yeah, I needed to go to this website and buy again. Thanks for emailing me. And that is going to have a better result than hoping that that person takes action on those cards.
Okay. So I have a plaque thing with a QR code to virtual websites. So when I'm asking them, hey, like sign up for my email list, get this incentive, should I just go ahead and do it myself or direct them to the QR code and have them do it?
You're going to have to see their response. Either you have a list that they actually write in their emails and then you give them a freebie, or you ask them to scan the QR code. Depends on your customers that are rolling through. I have a friend that she's like, her phone never worked for QR codes. My mom might be like, what is a QR code? And then the people will be like, yeah, I QR code everything.
Yeah.
So you may just need to test it. You might have twofold. You might have a paper that they can fill it out. Inside of Multi-Stream Machine, I have a downloadable for you for that, for the how to build your email list. And then second, you could keep the QR code where they opt in. And then you just tell them, sign up here, or you can do it here. Show me, and I'll give you this.
Okay.
So that might be the better result. And then once you opt in, I'm going to send you a coupon via email for you to use to buy online. And then that's the incentive. So maybe they walk away with a cookie and you have to decide. Maybe you create your cake pop balls or the carrot cake cookies, like something that you feel like you can give away when they opt in that's worth it to you.
Okay.
Or a mini bag of treats or something. Like it might be like, I'll give you a free gift when you do this. And then you just make it something that's cost effective. Because listen, to grow my list through ads, to grow my email list through ads, it can cost me $25 a person to get them onto my email list. So when you think about giveaways or discount codes, there's a cost to that list building, but it is usually cheaper than running ads. Let me say it again. You can't build a house on borrowed land. And that's what using social media for all your marketing is like. Instagram has made its algorithm changes that have wiped out reach for many businesses in the past. The same thing is happening on TikTok as well. You can't expect these platforms to always perform well for you in the future, which is why focusing on building your email list is so key. No matter what changes, if you have a customer's email, you can reach them. All right, friend, it is podcast recommendation time. And this month, I'm all about listening to Another Bite, hosted by John Dick, Jory Monroe, and Ariel Bosworth, which is brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network, the audio destination for business professionals. Each week, and this is so fun. I love the show. I was on the show, so I'm obsessed. So each week, they break down episodes of everyone's favorite business television show, especially if you're a product boss, which is Shark Tank, offering their own unique thoughts on spin-off companies and critiques, right? They're just digging in and having conversations about it. And it's so fun. It's like the same things that I say to my husband when I'm watching the show with him, but even better, right? That conversation you want to have. So they are digging into food brands, to luxury desserts, to premium water bottles, baby bottles, and everything in between. And Another Bite takes a fresh look at some of your favorite episodes, and even more importantly, answers what these entrepreneurs are up to now. Yes, you get updates, which is so cool. So listen to Another Bite wherever you get your podcasts. All right, Product Boss, I have a serious question. Does it ever feel like you've tried everything and you still aren't making the sales you want to be? Or maybe you've poured countless hours, days and nights, there's been tears into your product biz, and you're starting to think that maybe you're just bad at business? I mean, trust me, I have literally been there. So I'm here to tell you that you aren't bad at business and that selling your products doesn't have to feel this hard. So what I've seen from coaching thousands and thousands of product-based business owners like you is that they just don't know how to get their products in front of more customers to make more sales. And listen, I get it, because I used to have that exact same issue with my product biz until I figured out the one thing that took my business from 1 or 2 sales every 2 weeks to people I knew to making 6 figures in my first year of business. That's right. I was able to take a piece of fabric that I folded over 3 times and turn it into a 6-figure international success, which was worn by countless celebrities, all in just 1 year. And the best part is that I did it without spending a single cent on ads or having an audience or a following or an email list to sell to. Now listen, I want this for you too, which is why I'm sharing my secrets so you can learn how to turn your product-based business into a money-making machine that provides the stability and financial security that you're looking for. And it's all happening inside of my free masterclass, the 3-part framework to building a consistent, profitable, revenue-generating product-based business in 2024. So if you're ready to get clarity, get profitable, and take that next step, all you need to do is head over to theproductboss.com/framework to save your spot. Again, that's theproductboss.com/framework, or you can just click the link in the show notes and I'll see you inside. All right, now back to the show. So I know you probably still have your questions about website and social to see if that can convert. So what would you like to tackle with that?
I guess mainly with my website, I wanted to know if you could see where maybe I'm losing people. I'm not sure what else I could add that isn't already here.
Well, I think that first, even though you have people landing on your site, are they your ideal customer, right? So one thing is you just understanding your analytics and who's actually landing on your site and how they're landing on your site.
Okay.
Another thing that I think would be really helpful for you that is inside of MSM is the part where I talk to you about SEO and I teach you about SEO. What I see the issue is that you probably are not creating in the market is a big enough problem in the market. So even on your social media, I know you're saying like the markets you're at and all the different things here, but what we probably need you to do is take a stand against Milkbone and everybody else that's like poisoning our dogs.
Okay.
Right? So you have to have a stronger, at least with social, we need something to be shareable
Okay.
and educational and the reason why. So if we go to, I'm just going to bring it up in a different kind of person. So like the Food Babe, she has 1.6 million followers. She has an entire cookbook. It's Food Babe Family, and then she has normal Food Babe. And all she posts is, you think this is good for you? Let me show you all the things that are bad for you in this product. So she actually calls them out. So here, for example, she's showing an organic plant-based vanilla protein and the ingredients in it. And then she's showing another product on the market. And she said, this is why I mix my own protein shake and don't buy these pre-mixed versions. It's so worth it to avoid the crazy ingredients that are bad for you, like these. And see how she's like highlighted the bad ingredients?
Right.
You could easily do this by showing your stuff and sharing the ingredients, and then showing a Milkbone packaging and all their ingredients, and then saying like how bad it is. Why does this matter? Because this kind of content is the kind of content that people share. I mean, you know, you've seen it too, where like I'll send it to my husband, like, oh crap, we need to stop eating Doritos, right? So I think one for you is establishing in the market. If for social, the reason social is going to work for you or not work for you is that you're either putting a flag and standing against something, and then you're showing how your product is the antithesis to that, or your product is the healthy product. Okay. So that is one pillar that you could probably base your branding and marketing around. Did you join Standout Society?
No.
Could be something for you to consider. And you've already done it, right? So you've already increased your sales by not making sales and only making sales to friends and family, to realizing, oh, I need to go where my customers are. I need another sales channel to work on. So no matter what, you've already started to generate revenue that you weren't making before off of Multi-Stream Machine. But what might need to happen now is this kind of move towards even honing in even more on your ideal customer, knowing what kind of messaging is going to resonate with them. And then how are you going to market it to them, right? So it could be something to consider for you if it feels aligned for you, because this is like the gap that I see. So you can go this way in terms of educational. It doesn't have to be every post that you make, but you now become like the expert in a way of nutritional dog food and why they should be buying, whether it's you or somebody else. Because you can also create content that's like sharing dog foods and dog kibbles that are good and bad for the dogs, right? So you can show Pedigree, which is so funny because they have vets recommend it. It's just by the pet food lobbyists.
Yeah.
Right? Because Pedigree is like one of the worst foods, but somehow they also have their like vet version of it with vets.
Right.
Versus if you go to like the natural food places for your dogs and showing that. So it's not competing with you. It's just helpful. So you might also say like, again, with allergies, so thinking about people who have dogs with allergies, you might be like, great shampoo products, crappy shampoo products. And so you're creating content that is useful and helpful to your ideal customer. And they're coming to you for all these other reasons. And you are also a solution to their problem. So they trust you, Chanel. They trust Pup Pastry, which is a genius name. And every so often you're going to make the sale, but they're actually going to come to you as like a verifier of trusted advice for products we should use. And then also you can create content that talks to their pain points.
Okay.
They have allergies. That is a pain point. How can you help me? Because you're the expert I'm looking to, because you're creating a solution for that problem. And you dealt with animals with allergies or whatever, the skin issues. Because on your website, you actually show the before and after of what you feed your dog to the results of their like skin and coat. So then same thing, like how can you create useful content to me that I can consume and share that teaches me like wipe your dog's paws after they go on a long walk. I love these wipes. Or I wipe my dog down with this. I keep going to wiping things. I don't know. But you come up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You come up with examples of helpful stuff. And that's what Food Babe does. Because she has obviously like this stuff sucks. But then she gives them a whole recipe to make popsicles for your family, and she gives the recipe. So that's actually a helpful piece of content.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, oh, I can do this myself. I'm not saying that you have to teach them how to make it themselves, but you are going to give them something helpful, plus something that stands against the stuff that is why you've created the product you've created. Okay. So this is one of my one-on-one clients. It's also a product boss, and it is Dr. Tori, and she worked with me one-on-one. So she's a vet.
Mm-hmm.
And as a vet, her whole thing is empowering people to make small changes to improve their dog's life. So she almost does Eastern medicine and Western medicine for the health of animals. So she is a balanced pet vet, just to shout out Dr. Tori, that gives advice to people. And a lot of her followers are people with like older animals that are in pain that need acupuncture and gua sha and all these other ways to help their dog not be in pain. So she's established herself as that. And you can see she has all this different content. But then what I helped her create and helped her name, I'm very proud of it, is Pasha.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's dog gua sha is the handle. And she's growing her following, whatever, but we created gua sha stones specifically for pets to be used in the way that she could teach, right? So now not only is she showing people how to keep their animals out of pain, but she came out with a product that's a solution. So you can see her stuff. She's showing how to use the product. She's creating content to show the product, and she's creating content like of dogs doing cute things so that your ideal customer is already an animal lover, a dog lover specifically. So they need to see more dogs. So if we go back to you and your brand, I don't see dogs. Down here I do, but you may want to like have other content that you're sharing that is dog focused or dog solution focused if you want to be more of like an educational, helpful company. Does that resonate with you, or do you want to be fun or funny? Like, what's your kind of brand feel?
My brand feel is definitely more on the fun, like funny side. So like dog videos here, like I do dogs of the market. And so whenever a dog comes to my booth, I give them a sample. I always record them and then I compile it. And so I like the fun that can come from like what if they do in person. And then I do also have some educational stuff about like certain ingredients, why they're good, why are they bad, like stuff like that. And I think that was me kind of like tiptoeing into calling out the bigger treat companies without actually doing it. And I think too, what I had in mind was the other treat people, even like in my area or whatever the case may be, like what makes our treats different.
Who would you say is your competition on the market? Like not Milkbone.
Right.
But who else exists that you
like locally or just in general, the world of treats?
I would say on the internet.
On the internet, Wolf Snacks for sure. Even though they do dehydrated treats, they're still the Wolf is spelled with the U.
So complicated. Wolf Snacks. Okay, let's just use them as an example. So they have almost 30,000 followers. And so if we look at the branding, and this is some of the stuff that we go over in Standout Society, right? So looking at people who exist in the market and then looking at why, and you can see like the following, right? So they have a very clear brand. They're bright colored. That is one of their things that they're standing out in the market against versus other ways of doing it. They also have like this dog that is kind of almost cartoony, if that makes sense. There's this like element of like
animation to them.
Animation, yeah, like big expression of these pets. Like that's disgusting.
I get that a lot. I have chicken feet at my booth and people are like disgusted. They want to run away. And I was like, there's worse that, people feed their dogs, but it's good for them.
I'll just let everybody, if they want to see, go to Wolf Snacks with a U. I get it, but they're single ingredient proteins. So just imagine all the types of single ingredient proteins, but they look like they just came off the animal.
They have.
Which I have like in my mastermind, there's students that are like, one is Indigenous Pet Treats, and she's an Indigenous company that actually raises rabbits and different types of animals. And then it's the same thing. It's like that Indigenous Pet Treat. So I don't eat meat. So like, I'm probably not the ideal customer because I still only feed my animals like what I eat. So fish and chicken, like they've not had meat, which is their problem, not mine. So that's why you have to nail your ideal customer, right? So as much as I get this company, I'm not the ideal customer because I can't do that, even though I know that it's probably good for the dog. And then I might be more into your stuff that's like cute hearts or the shapes of a pumpkin, and like it's still good for my animal. So That's one of the reasons we need to nail our ideal customer. Then we have to think, what kind of content is your customer going to resonate on social? So as you can see here, they have very specific branding. They're showing the pet eating the product. Like even this girl and her nails is very specific to how she shows her stuff, right? So if you knew nothing, but you saw her hands, you're like, oh yeah, I know this brand if I follow it. Then she's showing the dog watching printing, like the labels printing out from orders. She's got her like very specific colors. I do think it's just nailing your audience, nailing your messaging and how you're going to stand out is what's going to work for you on social. Because if it's just another dog treat company, so if we go to this and I land on your site right now, in the grid, looking at this, I wouldn't know that you made good for your dog, helping support health, like let's say allergy products. I wouldn't know that.
Okay.
So that would be my first way of social would be kind of like a redo of that. And then aligning with your brand. So it could be like Food Babe version. It could be like Wolf Treats, but like another version of that. You just have to really nail your ideal customer and what they want to know and hear and interact with. And then you do that consistently. But you might test and try a few different versions and see what people share, what goes viral. The shareability means we all know this if there's like a family member, a spouse, a best friend on Instagram, and like we're constantly sending them, watch this, look at this. So that's what we're looking for. It's like shareable content and content that they're going to save.
Okay. I'm trying to like brainstorm ideas and I'm having sort of like a brain fart, I guess, so to speak,
It's okay.
because I'm not sure where to go with the content. I guess maybe more of it. Cause I guess, are you saying that as far as like, because you don't see a lot of dogs that you wouldn't think that?
You're going to need to do market research to understand your competition and understand what's having them stand out in the market and then what you can do for it. So it's not something we can do in like this call entirely because there's more steps to this like foundational part of building your brand and standing out in the market and being identifiable to your ideal customer. But showing me that, how could you do your own version of it? I gave you the example of the Food Babe. You showed me one that you're following. How can you decide the way that you want to move forward with pup pastry? Okay. You don't have to come up with the idea right now. You just have to kind of like seed this inspiration and then start to walk through it. The key to getting traction on social media is finding a way to stand out. There's two parts to this: who you're speaking to and what do you have to say. That means honing in on your ideal customer, then crafting a message related to the product that's going to grab their attention. There's a lot that goes into this, but that's why we're running a free webinar, the 3-part framework to building a consistent, profitable, revenue-generating product-based business in 2024. In it, you're going to discover the one thing you need to turn your business into a revenue-generating, money-making machine without spending any money on ads or actually even needing a social media following. So if you're interested in saving your spot, follow the link in the show notes. So the second part to your question about your website, it definitely looks really clean. So shout out to that MSM student that helped through it. I like love so much of like our community because it's just such a helpful community. Okay, so in terms of conversion on your site, it just might be a better user experience in there. So I think really like what you said in the beginning is, what part do you want to work on first? For me, the easiest lever for you to pull right now is to really optimize the data you're getting at your in-person markets to get those people onto an email list when they're there, and then to drive them to buy from you online. Because now imagine you're doing 8 markets a month and a percentage of the people that buy from you now start to become online consumers. Okay, so that's like the first easiest lift of you're getting the visibility in person, you're making sales in person, and then you're taking information that you can get from there. You're building your email list, and then you're moving them to buy from you online. It makes it easy for them. And now you started making more sales online.
Right.
Okay, so you're going to treat your in-persons as like marketing, visibility, and sales. Second part could be you already trying the wholesale arm of like the multiple sales channels. Because I would tell you, you could sell on Amazon, but Amazon needs you to be shelf stable. So from a wholesale perspective, go back into the program, watch the part about wholesale, and then decide, would I like to get 2 stores a month, right? Like set a revenue goal for yourself, know what kind of offer to make to them, and see how you can start to do that. Because again, if you sell wholesale, now your ideal customers, which are people with dogs that want their dogs to eat natural, fresh, good for their skin, coat, things like that. Food, they're going to discover you on the shelves of other stores. And then also, they can't get it all from you, so perhaps they will come and buy from you online. And you're making sales in the first place. And then the last part of this, which is what you want to do, is your online presence. Because what you want is you want one traffic source for your website. We need traffic to be driving that for sales. So you need to be building your email list, because when you email your email list, you drive them to your website to purchase. And then if you're posting on social, you're either building your email list on social and or you're growing a following and then you're making pitches and sales to them. Same thing. They're going to come and buy from you direct to consumer on your website. So what we want to do is we want to make sure we have clear traffic sources, bringing them to your website, and then that your website, the user experience converts. And then you can keep testing and trying. But you're already growing month over month. So it's great that we got to have this conversation sort of in the beginning of your business, because you've already done a lot. And now it's like some tweaks to kind of turn it on. And then one day you might decide you're not doing in-person markets anymore, or you're starting to be successful at them, that you hire people to run those markets for you while you stay in top strategy.
One day.
It will come.
Yeah.
It's just the beginning.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions off of that?
No, that all sounds good. I'm already like brainstorming a few ideas for the markets, because like I do really enjoy doing them. It's just the number is what's tiring, but I do love like interacting with people and answering all the questions. So, and I think that I'm better able to convey what my brand messaging is in person, which is why I needed that help to be able to transfer it to social media and website. Like you said, you're looking at like that first part of the grid of Instagram you don't know. And that's obviously not good if I am selling dog treats. And so just bringing how I am able to convey that in person to social media will be helpful.
So I do think there's this level of you nailing a few of these things a little bit better, but you already have a way of revenue coming in. So it's more of like making what's working for you work better.
Right.
And then the heavier lift is like, it is going to be to get strangers on the internet to come shop from you online. And that's some more work. One last thing I want to leave you with that just came to me was, when you make these sales at the markets to make it more worth it to you, I'd love for you like to raise your average order value. So think of creative ways that when someone comes and buys from you, they don't just buy one bag at $15, but can they buy the best-selling sampler pack?
Okay.
Can you have that person, if they're already there to buy from you, can we double the average order value? Now, instead of you making, $100, $200 a market or something, or $50, I don't know how much you're selling at markets, but the people who are buying from you, it's easier again to sell more to the people who are already customers. So let's give them a higher average order value. And then it's going to be more and more worth it to you to do these markets because you're coming home with more.
Right. I know we're running out of time. I don't want to keep you from the next person. I know just from April, I made $1,500 doing 8 markets. So that was more than March. But I definitely think that trying to get them to get that one little cookie or that one little ice cream, whatever the case may be, will be very beneficial to me.
Study like 3 Dog Bakery. So I think it's always like buy 3, get the 4th free. And it's usually the lowest price. So do like a buy 3, get 1 free. Do a bestseller bundle of like your 3-pack of like the RX pack, which is like joints, allergies, teeth.
Oh, I like that name too.
Right? So like give it different marketing angles so that someone's not just like, I'm just going to walk away with this one random bag because I met this great person and she bakes them and I wanted to support her.
Right.
But rather you're solving a problem with the offer you're creating.
Okay.
And again, going back into MSM and that Pura Vida coaching training that we have for you, whether it's for wholesale or your customers, we want them to say yes. We want to just make it really easy.
Okay. That sounds good.
Okay. All right. Amazing. So for people listening to this call that want to support you, how can we follow you and buy from you?
So my website is www.puppastrync, like North Carolina.com. And then my Instagram is the same. So Pup Pastry NC. And that's where you can find me.
Amazing. And was it Nicole that supported you in MSM?
Natalie Gerardo.
Natalie. Shout out Natalie for being such an amazing collaborative human inside of Multi-Stream Machine.
Thank you.
And as you're seeing results and stuff like that, just send me messages, DM me. I love to know what's happening.
Okay, will do. Thank you so much for talking with me today.
Of course. When you start seeing growth in the early stages of your business, it can be easy to get caught up in wanting to reinvent everything. I've pointed this out before that at some point, the systems you have in place won't be able to sustain the growth of your business. And that's true. But until that point, you don't need to do anything new. Double down on what's working. Follow the clues of success. Make little tweaks to optimize and keep moving forward. Chanel wanted to take on a lot of new ventures in her business, but she hardly tapped into the potential of what she's already doing. Don't get caught up in the same trap. Work on what's working until it's not. Then lean on other entrepreneurs to find out what comes next. Whatever that is, we'll be here for you. I'd love to see you inside of the 3-part framework to building a consistent, profitable, revenue-generating, product-based business in 2024, because I know that you want to know the one thing that you need to turn your business into that revenue-generating, money-making machine. Thank you for being here and listening all the way through the Product Boss podcast. If you love our show and it has helped you in any way in your business, would you mind doing 2 things for us? Subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode and leave us a review. Reviews help other product entrepreneurs know that this is the place to be to grow their businesses and realize that they're not alone. And we know that you all know that a 5-star and honest review helps you sell more products to more people. So you know that your reviews help us reach more listeners around the world. Remember, what we give is what we receive, and we are all about helping each other in the Product Boss community. We are all in this together. We would be so appreciative of you if you could take the time right now to subscribe, leave a review, and even share this episode on social or someone you know so we can impact more lives. And remember, subscribing means that you will get notified each time we release a new episode so you never miss a thing. You have helped us grow and climb into the top 10 of all marketing podcasts, and together we can keep climbing. Thank you, friends. And remember, there is room at the top for all of us.